Canada is not a country that gets talked about when the conversation turns to black wealth. America gets the headlines, Africa gets the countdowns, the UK gets the profiles. But right now, in the boardrooms of Toronto and Bay Street, the financial spine of the entire Canadian economy, there are two black men whose combined fortunes exceed $1.5 billion. One of them arrived from Jamaica with $40 and a borrowed coat. The other grew up in a tin shack, was thrown out of his mother's house at 13 years old, and slept on the streets of Toronto before walking into one of the most exclusive industries in the history of Canadian finance and becoming the man that the biggest corporations on Bay Street cannot afford to ignore. Two men, two extraordinary stories, and a country that has never given them the credit they are owed. Today, that changes. Man 1, Michael Lee Chin. He was born in Port Antonio, Jamaica in 1951, one of 8 children in a household that stretched every dollar as far as it could go. His mother was a shopkeeper. His stepfather ran a small grocery store. There was no inheritance waiting, no family fortune accumulating in a bank account somewhere. What Michael Lee Chin had was a mother who believed in education with a ferocity that refused to negotiate, and a stepfather who taught him, by example, that the most important things a man could own were the things he could touch: real estate, businesses, assets that compound. He left Jamaica at 19 years old and arrived in Canada with $40 and a borrowed overcoat to study civil engineering at McMaster University in Hamilton, Ontario. The engineering degree gave him discipline and analytical rigor, but it was the world of finance that captured his imagination completely. He became a financial advisor at Investors Group in 1977, spending 2 years studying how wealth was built and held by the people he was supposed to be serving. He was not just selling investment products, he was reading the architecture of how money actually moves and absorbing an investment philosophy that would eventually make him one of the wealthiest people in the country. The move that changed everything came in 1983. Lee Chin was 32 years old. He had no significant capital of his own. He went to the Continental Bank of Canada and borrowed $500,000, placing the loan entirely into a single investment in Mackenzie Financial Corporation stock, not diversified across 10 companies, not spread safely across multiple asset classes, everything into one bet on one company held with conviction. 4 years later, that investment had grown 7-fold. He used the proceeds to acquire a small Ontario-based investment firm called AIC Limited, which managed just $800,000 in assets at the time he bought it. By 2001, AIC was managing over $15 billion, making it one of the largest privately held mutual fund companies in Canada. He had built it in 14 years, from a $200,000 acquisition into a $15 billion asset management operation, using a philosophy he summarized in 3 words that became the company's motto: buy, hold, prosper. He did not chase trends. He did not rotate into whatever sector was generating headlines. He concentrated, he held, he compounded. And when the 2008 financial crisis devastated AIC's assets under management and forced him to sell the company to Manulife in 2009, he had already made his most consequential move, acquiring a controlling stake in National Commercial Bank Jamaica in 2002, the largest bank in the Caribbean by assets. That single acquisition became the core of his personal fortune. NCB grew under his stewardship into a regional financial powerhouse, with operations in Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, the Cayman Islands, and the United Kingdom, posting cumulative profits of over $2 billion between 2004 and 2020. Forbes confirmed Michael Lee Chin on its 2025 World's Black Billionaires list with a net worth of $1.1 billion, making him the only confirmed black billionaire in the entire country of Canada. His Portland Holdings portfolio today spans banking, insurance, telecommunications, tourism, and coffee, including ownership of Wallingford Coffee, the largest cultivator of Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee in the world. He has donated over $60 million to Canadian hospitals, universities, and cultural institutions, including a $30 million pledge to the Royal Ontario Museum that resulted in the iconic Michael Lee Chin crystal, the angular glass structure that now defines the building's exterior on Bloor Street. He was appointed to the Order of Jamaica for his contributions to the country's economic development. He served as Chancellor of Wilfrid Laurier University. He was named chairman of Jamaica's Economic Growth Council in 2016 by the Prime Minister. He borrowed $500,000 at 32 years old and built a billion-dollar empire. He did it with concentration, patience, and a refusal to be moved by the noise of the market. Canada has one confirmed Black billionaire. His name is Michael Lee Chin. Most Canadians still cannot tell you who he is. Man 2. Wes Hall. He grew up in Golden Grove, Jamaica, raised by his maternal grandmother in a zinc-roofed tin shack, one of 15 half-brothers and sisters. His grandmother was the architect of everything stable in his world. When he was sent to live with his mother at age 11, what he found was verbal abuse and violence. At 13, his mother threw him out of the house. He was a child with nowhere to go, living by his wits in a country that was not going to catch him if he fell. He survived those years the only way a child in that position can survive, by becoming unnaturally resourceful, unnaturally self-reliant, and unnaturally focused on getting somewhere that could never be taken away. At 16, Hall moved to Canada to live with his father in Toronto, carrying nothing from Jamaica except the understanding that nobody was coming to save him. He worked as a dishwasher. He worked as a security guard. He educated himself as a law clerk at George